Okay, game 2 of the match. Minionpawn versus Alexconga. I'm Shanahan.
And I'm Kilohertz. So let's see what we got here. Sewers and Transmogrify are trashing. Maybe not ideal. A lot of the time you'd like to use Sewers not at the start of the turn, but trashing tends to be a bit better once you've gotten some hand filtering in. Can drop some junk cards to trash.
Yep.
Yeah, there is T-Mog Sheepdog here, which is quite good because you can turn the state into a sheepdog and then react with the sheepdog to itself. It's a fun little trick.
Yeah. And you can, if you have other sheepdogs in hand, you can play those for free draw at the beginning of your turn as well. And you can do all that. When does the sewers happen? The sewers happens when you first trash, I think, before the sheepdogs activate, or does it happen after the sheepdogs activate?
It happens first because Priest doesn't give you money from sewers, so it's before the card's resolved.
But in either case, transmogrifying the estates into sheepdogs and immediately drawing with them seems really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, you can do things like transmog, 3 costs into hostelries at the beginning of your turn, get a bunch of horses. And stockpiles give you a ton of early money, so it seems like you can build pretty quickly here.
Stockpile is such a good card. I still think it's the strongest card in Menagerie.
Yeah, I was about to say we might see a hostelry and 5 horses, but it looks like they're going to do something else. Stockpile, hostelry, 2 horses. Seems reasonable.
Might be.
It is very attractive to transmogrify the estates into stockpiles, certainly. I don't know if that's if you wait to do the transmogrify tricks on sheepdogs now, you wait to do that until later, or if they've not noticed the interaction, or if just at some point the stockpiles are going to empty and then you're not going to have any cards left to transmogrify into sheepdogs. But
yeah, I bought sheepdogs sooner rather than later, seeing as they're the only draw on the board.
Yeah. I also think Minionpawn needs to get sewers here pretty quickly. It will help them thin for marginally low cost.
Hey, we did a sheepdog thing.
Yeah, so we'll see if Minionpawn noticed that and decides to follow, or if they just want more stockpiles. But we're already seeing Alex's deck is notably thinner. Well, one copper thinner. They've also added fewer stockpiles to their deck, so stockpiles kind of artificially bloat your deck early on, and then once you've gotten rid of them all, in theory, you're left with a small but really nicely stocked deck of,
Yeah, I think of it a lot like Hermit, where it is something that accelerates your deck very quickly. It doesn't play out in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
But it lets you quickly build and shove a bunch of cards into your deck very fast.
Yeah, and I think I'm looking to get a big groundskeeper stack here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to win without groundskeeper here. Just because the money is going to have such a hard time taking 8 provinces unassisted. So you kind of have to play with groundskeeper.
Yeah, I'm looking at fancy things like getting a royal seal so that when you buy the estate for like the 6 victory points, you can top deck the estate and then transmogrify it next turn into sheepdog for free draw.
That is cute.
But that, I think I'm going to buy groundskeepers before I... That's maybe getting a little bit too cute. All right, Minionpawn able to activate the sheepdog as well. You can even transmogrify a sheepdog into a sheepdog and draw it if you're action limited for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of fun stuff like that.
But you could also just like T-Mog any card in your hand into something just to activate sheepdog.
Yeah, certainly. And chat pointed out it doesn't matter right now, but Peddler costs 8, so you buy it for 2 that turn, and in theory you can transmogrify it into province.
Yeah.
Which
Peddler's great with any kind of trasher benefit.
Maybe the Royal Seal becomes even stronger then if you can top deck Peddlers and your opponent knows you have Peddlers and transmogrifies. It really hampers their ability to lower piles because you're always starting with the Peddlers in hand and transmogrifies, and you can just play them as cantrips as Peddlers normally if you don't want to try to end the game that turn.
Yeah. Okay, we see Alex taking a Peddler.
I assume we'll see another Sheepdog here. And Minionpawn has in the meantime activated or gotten their sewers, so they're starting to thin coppers as well. The nice interactions here, you want hostelries for all the horses, and then the extra sheepdogs you bought earlier, you're able to play because you have plus actions from your earlier horses. There's a lot of really nice interactions on this kingdom.
This could be like groundskeeper, stockpile, peddler. Could be another hostelry. He's certainly thinking about it because he's holding onto all those coppers. With 12, you can't do 2 groundskeepers and a stockpile. And you definitely want to get those stockpiles out of exile here.
They may also be looking at groundskeeper hostelry peddler.
Yep.
That seems a little bit slow. The stockpile gives them 12 extra money in their next shuffle. I know it's going to be hard to draw, but they're going to be able to buy more stuff, and that's the trade-off you've got to work through. You can also transmogrify something into a stockpile at the beginning of your turn if you know you're going to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure if they're going for double stockpile or if they're doing something else. I think that was what we suggested originally.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
It feels bad on kingdoms with hostelries to not spend all your coppers, but if you win the groundskeeper split here, 6-4 is probably recoverable. But if you have 7 groundskeepers to 3, it's going to be almost impossible for them to win. So Once you start taking groundskeepers, your opponent's got to start taking them as well.
Yeah. There's no clear 3 pile here. I mean, certainly Peddler's, Stockpile, and Hostelry all could run, but I think as they shift to more groundskeeper-focused things, we're going to see less of the Hostelry and Peddlers being taken, just more groundskeepers and probably more sheepdogs.
Yeah, I would even here as Minionpawn consider some kind of T-Mog trick, like groundskeeper into groundskeeper, peddler into peddler, trash a copper, activate the sheepdog to start the turn.
Well, you can't do peddler into peddler.
Ah, good point.
But you could do peddler into province if you want.
Peddler will be 8. You should be able to do peddler into peddler during your action phase. Or they're just going to get provinces already. Interesting. It feels a touch early to do that, but maybe they're thinking the game is going to end sooner rather than later. Yeah, Moria, that seems reasonable too. Like the hostelry, you've got sort of an extra set of hostelries. You only need maybe 2 in the deck, and you've got 3. So the groundskeepers are going to be a much more valuable resource for you moving forward.
Yep.
Alex able to draw deck here, and I think they are going to be a little bit thinner just because they got their sewers down earlier.
Yeah, I definitely like opening sewers on this board. I think sewers T-Mog was pretty solid opening here. Yeah,
and you hope, best case scenario, you draw the T-Mog turn 3. It's kind of sad if you don't draw it till turn 4, but it looks like they both drew it on turn 4, but they both ended up getting another Transmogrify, which is good. Sometimes in kingdoms like this, I only get one Transmogrify, and then in the very late game, I end up grabbing another one just for to threaten milling
The milling
provinces.
pressure.
But with peddlers, it's not even true milling. It's actually gaining essentially free provinces. Something you bought for 1 coin, for 0 coins, turning it into a province on the subsequent turn is really, really nice.
Yeah.
So they get 2 stockpiles, a ghost town. I'm not quite sure what the ghost town is doing for them.
I mean, it is a village.
Yeah, I just think with the transmogrify down, if they start their hand with sheepdogs and no villages, then the transmogrify will activate the sheepdogs.
Yep.
It is a village. The free peddler, and I assume this will be a hostelry for horses. Okay, let's see what Minionpawn's able to do. So something that's really interesting to note with stockpiles is this is the last time those stockpiles get played. So if they don't add money to the deck right now, they're going to have almost no money next turn. Other than 4 copper, they'll have 6 money left over from the coppers and the peddlers.
Yeah.
The other thing to note is, the peddlers is very low, and the hostelries is very low. So the game can end very, very quickly at this point. And Alex is probably Minion's probably feeling pretty happy that they got that province earlier. I wonder if they're considering getting something like a hostelry, 2 peddlers in a province. That feels a little bit risky with your opponent having two transmogrifies down.
Yeah.
But it also seems possible that they want to get. Yeah, so if they want to buy provinces next turn, they're going to need to get. Well, I think they actually have 1 stockpile on the bottom of the deck, perhaps.
Masterpiece doesn't seem crazy here as a way to add some payload now that stockpiles are gone.
Yeah, I just wonder if the game's going to be over in 2 turns.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think they have 1 stockpile left, but after that, they're limited to a single buy, and sort of the game changes completely.
Yeah.
Which is a fun part about stockpile. Normally in Dominion, it's sort of everything's linear, and stockpiles sort of make it into this sort of huge early growth, and then a step function, and then the game completely changes. You sometimes have games where one person just saves a stockpile until the very last turn so they can buy double province or province duchy or something, and you're stuck.
I love saving a stockpile. Lull my opponent into a false sense of confidence that single gain.
Yeah. And as the person playing against it, it's terrifying because, I know they have it. I just can't do anything. I just have to play. And it's like, oh, if we start duchy dancing, they're just going to win.
Yep.
Yeah, I assume when Minionpawn says, that they are saying, hey, I'm thinking about this one right now.
Yeah, I say that a lot when I'm thinking.
And don't want to write out something longer like thinking or... yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. How I feel about that masterpiece. It does add money, but they're going to have a really tough time drawing. And they did not have a stockpile on the bottom, so they've lost a lot of their pile pressure. Alex trashes a hostelry. Yeah, you can gain the dog here to draw. Gaining the groundskeeper for victory points. Interesting. It was a bit set. They did not have a great target for. Obviously, they'd much rather prefer to have a peddler in hand.
Yeah, now peddler to province is looking very attractive.
But they will have enough gains to empty piles. I don't believe they have enough gains to win with 6 buys. The piles, that takes it takes 5 buys to empty the piles. They can only buy 1 province. but
I wonder if you save a stockpile or two here. It looks like they're going to.
yeah, it seems pretty reasonable. It's hard for me to do anything other than double province here, but maybe there are.
Yeah, doubling seems pretty solid. I don't think you really have time to do anything else.
Especially because Minionpawn can turn peddlers has 2 transmogrifies down. And Alex doesn't have any transmogrifies down because they played them both this turn. And unfortunately, I didn't find peddlers to turn 2 provinces. The fact that they haven't played other coppers means they're thinking about something with hostelries. I guess you can hostelry discard that stockpile. It's something like hostelry, groundskeeper, province. And then, yeah, play 1 more copper and get 3 horses. That seems tough to make, tough to justify over just double province.
Yeah, Annex is definitely the kind of thing that might be the way you can clinch a pile out.
Yeah, I think you can maybe buy, well...
Good when it was time to go. I should have told him that. I'll tell him tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Ghost Town isn't terrible. It's not inspiring very much. I guess it's probably fine compared to the other 3 costs. We didn't have time to buy the Royal Seal, otherwise... oh, right, and they don't have transmogrifies down. So with 1 groundskeeper estate doesn't seem completely inspiring either. So Minionpawn, I assume here, will start by transmogrifying the peddler into province.
Yeah, that seems like the move.
Do Masterpiece into Sheepdog. That also seems reasonable. I was going to say they might regret trashing coppers, but they did add a bunch of silvers last turn, so...
Yeah, they have plenty of money. Well, this is a bit sad.
Yeah. Somewhat expected, but still sad. I'm not quite sure. Okay, taking a duchy.
Yeah, I think you do just have to take duchy.
Yeah, because the game progressed so quickly due to the stockpile, some of the stuff we wanted to do, like get a big groundskeeper stack, ended up not being realistic.
Yeah. So Alex is drawing deck again, but the problem is they don't actually have any payload.
Yeah, they've got enough for 1 province here, which does not feel... Actually, 1 province does feel safe with Minionpawn not having any transmogrifies down.
Yeah. Although Minionpawn also still has a stockpile.
Oh. No, there's 1 stockpile in the trash.
Oh, it got trashed?
Yeah, it got turned, I think, into a sheepdog for draw. So Minionpawn doesn't have any transmogrifies down. So I think Alex can pretty safely take a province here. But these spots get complicated. Tracking where your opponent's transmogrifies are. You have to be quite careful here not to, mill 2 provinces into provinces and then buy a duchy or something to win is dangerous. They played the stockpile. I would have saved that stockpile for some amount of time. But as it happens, the extra buy may have drawn the peddler there that they just bought, and they can transmogrify 2 peddlers here into province and win in hand. So nicely done by Alex. I think they spotted the transmogrify stuff and they got the sewers earlier. Although other than that, the decks were fairly similar.
Yeah, it looked for a bit like Alex was kind of in a bad situation, so good on them for pulling out of it. Okay, so we're 1-1 now?
Yep. And about to start game 3.